WebDan is back on the scene, and he has a good old question here. So I'm going to try to click my way through this, and we'll see how it goes. WebDan, hello, Adam. Good to see you around here again. Question for you. It's good to be back, WebDan. Question for you. We package our beers in cans. We don't apply stick labels, but rather use shrinked sleeves. We buy cans from supplier A, and they send them to supplier B to send them through a heat tunnel. Okay, so is that for pasteurization or for shrinking the label on, WebDan? When we get the cans, they've been already exposed and through machinery, so we don't feel comfortable just sending them into the canning. I see what you're saying. We've been applying the dunk and shake method, not big enough to get a decal, etc. We have these water baths with an ozone generator to rinse from dust and potentially kill any pathogens. We shake them like there's no tomorrow and make sure they're as dry as possible to avoid O2 pickup in form of water droplets. I assume getting a deionized air gun and water rinse should do the trick, but wondering what we could do better given the conditions. Currently choosing a bit of oxidation over contamination, I guess. So yes, it is for shrinking the sleeves. WebDan, thank you for the question. Bobby F, what's good? Welcome to the chat. So Web, so your situation is that you are getting your cans, and when they're shinies, they're going to another location and getting the shrink wrap label applied to them, and then they're sent to you. I know everything on this front seems to be wrong. Like, I always want to get those cans sanitized. You said you were using some sort of gas in here. What was it? We have these water baths with an ozone generator to rinse dust and potentially kill any pathogens. I do know people will use different types of gas to blow out those cans. It is my understanding, though, that even if you're rinsing with something like that, and as you mentioned, and there is any liquid in there, you are going to be picking up dissolved oxygen with that. I know those cans are supposed to be coming in clean when they come in their typical packing. Your concern is that they're not coming in that situation because they have received the shrink wrap. I get it. First of all, I like the fact that you're thinking through every angle on this, because as good brewers, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Some call it paranoia, but trying to troubleshoot anything that can be going sideways in our process. I would like to have a little time to dig on it more, but I think your best bet is probably using some sort of gas product to blow those things out without. I do believe a lot of people are using like an ozone type thing, but without a liquid. That's probably your best opportunity. Yeah, but I get the nerves on on infection in the can as well, in the package as well. Do you have the ability? I'd be interested to see if you do have the ability to pierce those cans and check DO. That needs to be done right away. They need to be shook. They need to be tested. I would be interested in see what DO is like between a can that does have some liquid in it and a can that doesn't. And then maybe you can make some decisions from there. But again, not everybody has access to that equipment either. You know what I mean? And so especially as a smaller supplier, without having all the bells and whistles, how do you effectively make clean, stable beer? It's tough. And sometimes sometimes you do choose one over the other, right? Because like you said, you'd rather have potentially a little bit of oxygen compared to a little bit of infection. What I would suggest that you do, because it would essentially be free, I would run 1 6-pack with just blown out with some gas and then filled, and then another 6-pack that's actually been dunked. And I would store them both side by side in a very warm environment, and then taste them each one on 6 consecutive weeks. So 6 weeks overall, and stored in that hot environment. Take them one a week, throw them in the cooler at the beginning of the day, end of the day, pull them and taste them side by side. Do sensory on them side by side, and do that for 6 weeks. You might be able to see what you're getting out of those two processes. That might be one way to do it. WebDan, I'm not trying to suggest like the most expensive fix possible, right? So that's why I'm suggesting kind of like a rough and ready approach. You know what I mean? Just a 6-pack of each, store them, and then in a month and a half you'll have a pretty good idea of what you're looking at, right? But WebDan, I appreciate the question, and it's good to see you back in here. I think it's been a bit.